This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll on this Tuesday morning. Hey, heads up, tomorrow we'll be joined by Minnesota defensive end Carter Menz, former Cheyenne standout. We featured Carter yesterday on our Best of the Weekend. Had a sack, a couple of TFLs, best collegiate game. He'll join us on the show tomorrow. Gophers getting ready for a little program you may know in Ohio State. So Carter will join us on the show tomorrow. Our next guest doesn't need any reminder about how good Carter Menz was, but his football team is pretty good. The Davies Eagles off a big win over Cheyenne. Now they've got a matchup set for top-ranked Shanley, the 25th Street rivalry game coming up this weekend. Our pleasure to be joined by Davies head football coach Wayne Werremeyer joining us, who is a big fan of the Bison playing a 6 p.m. game on Saturday because your son is playing, obviously. You got time. You can coach the game, and then you can fly to Chicago the next morning.
Works out great this weekend. I know a lot of people don't really like that 6 p.m. game, but when I when I get to be on the field with one of my other kids till 9-10 o'clock on Friday night, and then I got a flight Saturday morning at 7 a.m. It's awesome. I get to see them all.
Have you made the gauntlet? Have you done all the road trips yet, or have you made all the Valley stops? Because I know you're getting this one off the board this weekend.
The only valley I don't think I've been to is Terre Haute. I think they're in the valley. I don't even know who's in there, who's not. But I've been down to northern Iowa. I've been both to South Dakotas. UND's an easy trip. This is it's a new stadium for me this weekend. And then on top of that, as soon as I get back on Sunday, Malachi, my freshman that's at Jamestown, they have like an inter squad red shirt scrimmage with Concordia. So I get to sneak over there. So I get to see all three of my boys play football this weekend.
That's awesome, bud. That's fantastic. We appreciate the time. There's no needed, coach speak this week, right, with who's on the schedule?
Yeah, who do we got? I forget who we're playing, but from last week, Cheyenne's obviously a big rivalry game for us. To Shanley, the game. People who put the schedule together, I don't even know what you call them. They gave us back to back. It's fun. It's exciting. The kids are jacked. Hopefully, we put a good product on the field Friday night.
Tell me about the game a couple weeks ago out at Legacy. How that went and how you've bounced back because you've had two really good games since that performance out there.
Yeah, and I think first it starts with we've been pretty healthy this whole year. I want to throw a shout out to Capital Credit Union. They gave us a fairly sizable donation to put some kids in some of these new Axiom helmets. They custom fit the kids' heads. We've got 28 kids in Axioms, Dom, and I don't know if you see that across the state of North Dakota. I don't even know if you see that in the college ranks in North Dakota right now. So how do we bounce back? Well, number one, you got to stay healthy. Number two, the kids got to realize that, we want to win every game, right? Some of those non-conference games are learning experiences, and we did everything we could to beat Legacy. Legacy whooped us that night, so hats off to Legacy. And I think we got up early on them, and I think the kids relaxed, and Legacy said, whoa, we're not relaxing. So our kids learned from that. So just understanding that 48 minutes means 48 minutes, I think is what we've done the last 2 weeks.
I was giving you a hard time off air. We're seeing the highlight now. You actually threw the ball on Friday? What was going on Friday in this win over Cheyenne?
Well, one of the things we were very deficient at last year was throwing the football. We knew that. Every other team in the state knew that. We ground and pound, and we relied on a couple dudes that we had. So a big emphasis over the course of the offseason was to retool our entire passing game to be able to throw when we want and throw when we have to. I think we've done a decent job throwing the ball this year as far as when we want and when we have to. We have a very capable quarterback back there. He's a big, strong kid, does a great job running the football. He also can throw the football a little bit too, and we got some speed that we got to get the ball to in space sometimes.
To have that as a option now, how much for a head coach is that a nice deal that we don't have to run it every single down?
Well, I would love to run it every single down. You know that. The rest of the state knows that. We went to a Power T conference at Elk River, and Steve Hamilton hosted. Man, we talked football for 6 hours before that dreaded 4-letter word pass came up. But eventually that word pass came up, and Elk River does a great job on their whole offense, throwing the ball, and we learned a ton from them. So we want to sprinkle it. I still have my assistant coaches in my ear. Hey, we haven't thrown yet this quarter. We got to throw this quarter. So every now and then we do put the ball up in the air.
How different are you just in the modern landscape? Because I'm going to talk about your opponent in a second. That of teams that just do that, you got to be really rare, especially these days with how good quarterback play is everywhere.
I think the overall play in the state is elevated. I mean, you talk about the men's kid out in Minnesota, the I can't say his last name, so I'm going to say Cade from Cheyenne last year,
Yep.
getting sacks in the first quarter down at Nebraska to the South kids playing right away for NDSU. I mean, the state's got really, really good football. So a lot of people like to showcase their athletes. We like to showcase our athletes. We just like to do it in a little different way.
You know full well your opponent loves to throw the football. What challenges does Shanley bring to the table for this coming game on Friday night?
They go fast, right? I don't know what their snap count is this year, but in the past it's been there's a 40-second play clock. You can set that play clock at 12 seconds and try snapping the ball inside that 12 seconds. On the flip side, sometimes we're down to one or two. One, because I forget to get a play call in, and then we got to get to the line of scrimmage and try to get it executed. So, yeah, I mean, just the speed that they do things. It's tough to prepare, and we have some ways that we try to prepare, and then hopefully we do a good job this week. But not only that, but just their concepts, Dom, with they've got one short and they're going to dink you, dink, 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 and then you're over the top. So kids can't fall asleep. It's basically option football, but they do it in the air, and you got to be responsible for what you're responsible for and not fall asleep on them.
I know a handful of years ago you introduced the traveling trophy into this. How much now for your guys that are seniors that were freshmen or eighth graders when that came about? How big a deal is that trophy now?
I think it's a bigger deal for probably the people outside our football program than it is for the people inside. We have pride in it, right? We like to see that trophy in our trophy case all year long. But I think the kids understand, we've got goals, right? We've got goals this season. It starts with getting better every day. And then one of our goals is to put a number on our board, whether it's a conference champ or a state champ, hopefully both, but a lot of things got to go right for that. So our kids' goals obviously are to go perform, to win the game. I don't think there's any extra. We want to win more because we get a trophy. Hopefully we want to win because we're intrinsically motivated by wanting to win.
How much now with your interleague play have you been paying attention to the rest of the EDC? Is that something you do all year? You started doing now once conference games started last week?
I know Shanley beat West Fargo last week, and we play Shanley this week. Next week we play someone else, and I'm going to look at their scores. And the week after we play someone else. So we try to focus on Davies. We try to focus on who we're playing.
When you look at, though, the EDC race right now, I mean, it could be you guys, Shanley, Horace right in the mix, which how they do the scheduling now with this, and I know we talked about it when I saw you up at fall camp back in August. I'm a big fan of that now, that as opposed to what you guys were at. Are we in a good spot with 3A, with scheduling and where we're heading towards?
Better spot with 3A. I love the fact that our conference games are at the end. It's how it was 20 years ago where you play all your non-conference up front. Yeah. I still think we may have a few mini non-conference. I'd like to see some more teams in the bracket, but that's not for me to decide, right? We're going to go play who they tell us to play. So love the fact that it's a conference schedule. It's a true conference schedule. Everyone's playing conference games. We have an even number of teams. And I think the conference is a good conference. I know Horace is winning football games. Haven't seen them on film. I know West Fargo isn't winning football games, but I have seen them on film, and they're a lot more talented than what their record shows right now. So I would not count West Fargo out of this race yet either.
Okay, we talked plenty on your offense. I don't want to get your defensive guys upset with me. Tell me about a couple guys on your defense that have stood out so far through the first 5 games.
I think we're playing a really a team-focused defense. And with any good defense, it starts up the middle. Wilmot Matati, an inside linebacker, is a heck of a player. He was out that Legacy game, and trust me, I'm not making excuses because Century had kids out when we played them. Legacy had kids out. But you could definitely tell Wilmot Matati didn't play that Legacy game for us. Alex Christofferson, Colton Tesh at safeties right behind him. I think AC's got 3-4 picks. I think he should have had another one, but we had a roughing the passer call, and we unfortunately had to wipe that pick off the board for him. We've got a couple really good defensive ends, and Alex Meese and Jason Hunter, all state caliber type players. We've got some interior guys. My son Gus and Brody Iverson are playing interior, and they're hogging blocks. They don't necessarily get a lot of hoopla or name called on the stands or on the overcom, but that's okay, right? I mean, it's a team play. So I think we put speed on the field. I think number one, that helps us. We've been gashed a little bit by the outside run. We got to fix some things where we're definitely not in the spot where we want to be yet. But my defensive staff, led by Coach Peterson, it works their butts off every week to get these guys ready to go.
I think I'm interested. You're 5 games in. How much was last year, how it ended? Was that motivation that you needed? Did you even talk to the guys about that in fall camp, or was that unsaid?
This is 2025, 2026 Davies football. I think, I listen to other coaches, and one thing I've really learned from Tim up at NDSU is last year was last year, this year is this year, right? 2025 Davies football has not accomplished anything yet, right? 2024 Davies football got second in the state. Great season, loved all the kids, loved the season, hats off to them. But 2025 has not earned anything yet.
I got to ask, so you mentioned being up at camp. Describe for you going this with Truman being his senior year, how much you're soaking this in, knowing full well this is his last ride.
Well, the tears haven't come yet watching him play his last football game, and like football, you never know when your last game's going to be. But we're awfully proud of that young man. Preferred walk-on to start to working into a starting role the last couple of years, and sounds like he's pretty well respected by his teammates. Some of the things he does, off the field and for the team, with the team, joking around with the guys. He gets to write the weekly roast. I guess they get to get together on Thursday or Friday night and they roast each other. So he gets to write that. He has a blast with it, and I don't understand anything he's talking about, but it sounds like the team has a good time with that.
Has he told you what he said?
He's told me bits and pieces, but I think there's a lot of inside jokes there, so I don't understand any of it. But I'm old, Dom. I don't understand.
I know your dad's. You had maybe high expectations, but has he played more? Has he contributed more than you ever thought when he was going to go there and play football?
I got to lean on Tyler Roll. I had a great conversation with Tyler Roll, and Tyler Roll said, Wayne, he fits. He belongs. If he trusts the process, he will play. When that was going to be, I don't know. I mean, I know I was tickled pink when he was a redshirt freshman and he got on the plane to go down to Arizona. I didn't know if he was going to be on the travel roster as a redshirt freshman, as a third fullback, but, he trusted the process. He's had some great coaching, some great guys that believed in him, some great mentors up there. So it's everything you could ask a college experience to be.
Well, last year down in Normal, I think he broke off his biggest reception he's had. So I don't know if he can duplicate that with you being there on Saturday.
Awesome. If Tim's listening, to get him in the end zone at some point would be awesome. And Tim, I'm sure Tim has nothing better to do than listen to Dom.
Hey,
and Wayne
believe
talk
me, he watches
on a Tuesday morning.
Hey,
so.
He watches the show. I'm just telling you that right now. But
no, here's the thing, man. It's about the team, right? Team comes first. Team's number one in any player that you want. And I think Truman believes in the team concept. And whether he catches 900 balls this year, which he ain't going to do, or he catches 0, if they put a W on the board, we're all about the team.
I know I've seen you guys up at wrestling all the time, at state wrestling. Did you, in your back of your mind, you ever thought if he wanted to go down that road, how successful he could have been as a wrestler?
Yeah. People laugh at me when I say Truman wasn't that great of a wrestler. He had 2-time state champ. You find 2-3 moves that really worked. Problem with wrestling, Dom, is you got. In college, you have 197 and you have 285. Truman was a 220 pounder. Right. So he's either going to have to cut 23 pounds, which, man, I've tried to cut 5 and I'm not very good at it. So hopefully he'd be better. Or he's going to have to put on 60 pounds. Would have he been successful? Truman's a grinder. Truman's going to be successful in a lot of things in his life. So probably he would have found success. Yeah. It wasn't his first love.
Yeah. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate the time. Good luck on Friday, and I'll see you on Saturday, okay?
Yeah, thanks for covering us, and we'll be down there.
Sounds good, bud. Thanks for the time. There he goes, Wayne Werremeyer joining us. Davies head football coach. Davies and Shanley coming up on Friday night. We'll have that game for you as part of a big night of high school football on Friday. Dynamite matchup. It's 1-2 in the state. Could be the first of a couple times that they play this season. We'll just see how it goes, but I was there for the first time that they instituted that trophy, and it was a big deal. And I have a feeling he's exactly right that it means a lot to the people attached to the two programs. Doesn't mean it. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything to the guys playing, but for the fans, supporters of each of those teams, it's a big deal if they can pick up the win. We'll see what happens coming up on Friday. All right, we're over to full break. We had a couple emails to get to. Much more on Kirill Kaprizov has signed his deal with the Minnesota Wild. He's going to be speaking with the media coming up after practice today. Back on a busy Tuesday. Hot mic after this.